Okay, let's dive into this. We're about to talk about a breakthrough that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. We're looking at the beginning of AI that doesn't just predict the world around us, but actually starts to design it.
You know, for the longest time, we've thought of AI as this incredible crystal ball, right? Something that forecasts everything from the stock market to tomorrow's weather. But what happens when that power flips from prediction to pure, raw creation? When an AI can literally dream up new forms of matter that have never existed before? Well, that's the wild ride we are on today.
So to really get what's happening, we've got to meet the first main character in our story, and its name is Alphafold 2. This is an AI from DeepMind that did something that had stumped the world's smartest scientists for half a century, and in doing so, it basically changed biology forever.
So what was this massive problem anyway? It's all about something called protein folding. And look, the best way to think about it is like this. You know when you pull your earbuds out of your pocket and they're just a tangled mess? That's kind of like a chain of amino acids. For it to actually work, to play music, it has to be untangled and put in your ears. Proteins are the same. They have to fold into an incredibly specific 3D shape to do their job. If that fold is even a little bit off, the protein is completely useless.
And trying to predict how it's supposed to fold? Whoa, that was a huge deal. The number of ways a protein could potentially fold is just mind-boggling. I mean, we're talking more possibilities than there are atoms in the entire known universe. No joke. So for 50 years, it was this slow, painful, expensive process of just guessing and checking in a lab.
And then, bam, Alphafold 2 enters the scene. And the scale of what it did is, it's just hard to wrap your head around. It didn't just solve the problem for one protein. It solved it for basically all of them. 200 million structures. A job that would have taken humanity centuries to do in the lab, it did in a blink. It gave us the complete library of life's building blocks.
Okay, so while Alphafold 2 was busy becoming the master of the physical world, there was this other AI, quietly working in the background on something even more fundamental. It was questioning the very rules of reality itself. So let's meet our second main character, AIBM, the AI Buckingham machine.
You know, pretty much everything we know about science, from the geometry you learned in school to super complex physics, it all stands on this one tiny assumption. An idea that's been around for over 2,000 years thanks to a guy named Euclid. It's so basic, so fundamental, we just accept it without a second thought.
The idea is this. A point has no size. It's just a location, an abstract idea. But here's the catch. That one little assumption, it breaks modern physics. Seriously, it leads to equations where the answers just explode into infinity. Physicists have a name for this headache, divergence. And it's a giant red flag that our model of the universe is missing something.
So, AIBM crunched an insane amount of data. We're talking 900 million data points over 35 years, and it came back with an answer that basically rewrites the rulebook. It said, hold on, a point isn't an abstract idea. It has a real physical size. And that one change, that tiny number you see here, solves everything. It puts a floor on reality, a smallest possible size, so the math can never, ever spiral into infinity again. It gives reality a hard boundary.
So, okay, let's recap. We've got two powerhouse AIs. One is the master of matter, of physical shape. The other is like an oracle of meaning, of the universe's fundamental rules. Now, what do you think happens when you let them talk to each other? Well, that's where the real magic, the real revolution begins. It creates this feedback loop where matter and meaning literally start to create each other.
They really do think differently, and this is key. You could say Alphafold 2 has a computationalist philosophy. It's all about finding patterns in data to predict what's going to happen next. But AIBM, it's all about ontological semantics, which is a fancy way of saying it wants to find the fundamental order of things so it can create totally new meaning that still follows the rules.
And this chart here really lays it all out. Alphafold 2 uses folding. It takes information and squishes it down into stable matter, always looking for the lowest possible energy state. AIBM, though, uses resonance. It takes information and organizes it into consistent, harmonious knowledge, trying to find the highest possible logical consistency. See? They're both searching for a kind of stability, just in totally different realms. One physical, one logical.
And this is the feedback loop where it gets absolutely wild. Check this out. Step 1, Alphafold 2 figures out a protein shape. Step 2, AIBM looks at that shape and asks, okay, based on the fundamental laws of the universe, what else could this do?
What's a new, awesome function we could give it? Then, step 3, it designs that perfect function and sends what are basically creative instructions back. And then the grand finale, step 4, Alphafold 2 takes those instructions and just creates a brand new protein, one that has never ever existed in nature. It's literally turning an idea into physical matter.
And look, this is not just some cool thought experiment. This whole integrated system is being turned into actual tools that are changing the game. We're moving away from a science of probability, this will probably work, and into a science of certainty. This has to work because it follows the fundamental rules of the universe. So what's the first thing they're building with this? It's called the Zero Divergence Drug Design Suite. Just think of it as the ultimate AI copilot for drug discovery. Because it gets those fundamental physical limits, it can design new medicines without the messy calculation errors that cause so many expensive failures. It can even look at a potential drug and predict if it's toxic with incredible accuracy before anyone even touches a test tube. I mean, think about the time and money, billions of dollars that saves.
And to prove their designs are legit, they're creating something they call an OPS-certified structure. It's basically a seal of truth for molecules. It's a guarantee that says, hey, this thing we designed isn't just a statistical guess based on a bunch of data. It's a physical reality that lines up perfectly with the fundamental laws of the universe. This could totally become the new gold standard for this kind of science, and even for things like patents.
Now, a technology this big, it doesn't just appear out of nowhere. This whole thing is actually the core of a really ambitious national vision, a huge project called K-Science.
And the vision for K-Science is pretty bold. The goal is to shift the country from being a fast follower, just playing catch-up with tech everyone else makes. Instead, they want to become a global rule setter. They want to build a whole new standard for science, one that's based on physical truth, not just on who has the biggest supercomputer. It's about pioneering a whole new kind of AI, one that doesn't just calculate, but actually certifies truth and creates new knowledge. Which, of course, leaves us with a pretty deep question to chew on. Think about it. Alphafold 2 gave us the keys to read the book of life, but this new combination, well, it gives us the pen to write brand new pages. So the question for all of us isn't what can we create anymore, it's what should we create. And how we answer that, that's going to shape everything that comes next.